All right, so this is kind of a crazy story. I did record myself telling it like 4 or so days after it happened. This is what I looked like, some of the bruises and stuff. And then I wasn't sure if I was going to post it, but I'd rather just do it now. I'm home, I'm safe, and I'm feeling pretty good. I still got a couple marks here. I hope those go away. I don't know if they will. But anyway, the story. So the story is definitely it was the police that did it. I can't even say that I had no problems with the locals in Mexico. I had only amazing interactions with everybody. That does include my cellmate, who two of my cellmates when I got locked up for this little mishap. I didn't do anything wrong, kind of. That their families brought them food. And they let me like eat it. And there was no, I mean, I don't speak that much Spanish. They didn't speak any English. So, but we had like a really, really cool friendship, and they were giving me food, that their family brought them, which was like super nice. So like through and through, locals were awesome. Nothing against Mexico. I would not want to deter anyone from going there because it's really beautiful. Gonna be a little bit careful. I understand that, that the story is coming from a place of privilege. Being a white male, cis straight male, the percentage of places that I can go and be myself, like around the globe, is a lot higher than a lot of other people who run into some bigger issues. So that's almost what had happened here. I had a great regimen in Mexico. I woke up in the morning, ran to the beach. I had to work. Usually went to the gym in the afternoon, and then taught a little bit because the time difference was a little strange, and then I was in bed by 10. So I'd gone out to see some music, which was amazing. And then one night I did go out and stay out like kind of late. About a week went by where I didn't leave the apartment, which was totally fine with me because the Airbnb was amazing. Finally, I decided to go out. So there's a couple of rooftop bars. A friend of mine that I had made at the gym was working at one of them. So anyway, I leave and I walk out. There's some, craziness going on out there that doesn't involve me. So I just walk away. I'm about a mile away from my Airbnb, maybe even a little bit less. So I start walking. Now, at first I wasn't sure what had happened. Then I went back and I actually I went there and I went to the bar where I really got sort of beat up, and sort of jogged my memory, and talking to some locals, kind of adding things up. Basically, I was walking away and a cop kicked me in the back, and for seemingly no reason, as far as like I can remember. And then I was like, oh man, like I really don't want to, I just didn't want to deal with it. I just wanted to get home, and I knew like when that happened, like there's going to be some sort of a situation. And I really was just like, dude, I'm not, I don't care. He did it again. And then that's when I fell on my face and cut myself open. I think it was the third time maybe he did it. So now I realize that I'm not gonna get out of this. At that point, I don't know if I knew it was a police officer. Right, but things add up now because we're a little bit away from everybody. He sees me walking by myself away from everybody. So I'm very much obviously alone. This is sort of when the police attack either locals and beat the shit out of them, or try to extort some money out of tourists. So the National Guard has to be there in Tulum to make sure that the police act accordingly. And at 3 a.m, the National Guard is not out patrolling the streets to keep their eye on the police. The police are sort of assholes there, from what I gathered in talking to the locals. They're sort of the bottom of the barrel people. So now at this point, I turned around. I think at the third time he kicked me, and I just swung at him and pushed him. So my goal was just to push him. I've been running a lot, so I was gonna just fucking try to get him to the ground and run as fast as I could. Being that it was a cop, that didn't work. That first initial contact, I think he was sort of ready for it. And he got me good, right in the back of the head. I still have a mark here. So I basically ran, and then there was a bar that was just a big open deck. So they, lock up all the tables and chairs just like on the big open deck. So I ran in there to try to hide. And then that's when he cracked me in the back of the head or on this side. And I think that's when I started to lose consciousness a little bit. And then, I'm sort of like fading in and out, and he is just going to fucking town with a baton. Like I was just all I wanted him to do was stop. Like all down here, like was bruised right here. My wrist still hurt a little bit. He was going for my ankles and my shins. I couldn't run for a little while because he like really fucked my shins up pretty bad. But being that he got me in the head, I blood all down here. My shirt was all like bloodied up. Looked really bad. My eye was like swollen shut. At this point, he had his flashlight in my face, and it was pitch black. It was dark before. That's why I was like uncertain that this was a police officer, because he never said anything. So now I'm cornered, trying to hide like under these tables, trying to get this dude to stop. He's screaming his fucking ass off, just beating the shit out of me. And at one point I stood up to try to like, just be like, oh my God, can I like, please just get out of here. You know what I mean? No, just like beat me so much that at that point I was like, this cannot be an officer. Like this has to be some maybe the person behind me wasn't a police officer. And this person now is the guy that owns the bar, and he's mad that I came in and I'm hiding. That was now what I'm thinking, because this guy was just hitting me so bad, so much. So anyway, I see sirens coming up, and I was like relieved to see those cops, because at this point I was like, this crazy motherfucker is gonna kill me. That was the first time that I really ever thought, holy shit, this person is gonna kill me. I'm gonna die. Like he was just going at me that much. I'm sure in hindsight, if somebody was watching that and like really got beat to like that, that close, I have friends that have been in like car accidents and had some pretty traumatic injury. I'm sure I wasn't that close to that point, you know what I mean? But like it felt that way, especially like at the time. So the police come, and I was like, oh, they're gonna get this crazy asshole away from me. So no, I get up, they just handcuff me, they take me to the station. I'm still a little optimistic, right? Maybe I trespassed, and then I can just tell them what happened. I can show them like my eyes like swollen shut. I got blood all over the place. No. This is where it gets really, really wild, man. They're just speaking in Spanish. I can't really understand anything they're saying, but they also at the police station, they can't really understand what I'm saying. So I do vaguely remember them saying 36 horas. So I knew 36 hours somewhere is in there. And I was just like, maybe that's gotta be fucking how long I'm going to be in this prison cell, this jail cell. I mean, so they just take me in, no, like nothing but the shorts that I had on, just completely covered in blood, no shirt, no shoes, nothing, in this dirty cell, like cockroach. It's exactly what you would think like a small Mexican jail cell would look like. So I was in there, it was probably about 5 a.m, just all throughout the day, no guard. I can't get a hold of anybody. It wasn't until later that they gave me a cup of water and the phone. The phone doesn't call long distance. And I was like, hey, I want to call, I just want to call my parents, because they were leaving for Ireland. And I was like, man, what if they need to get a hold of me? And like, I'm like, not going to be able to answer. They're going to freak out, so I tried dialing it, how you would dial from Mexico, and he's just like, no. I was like, I can't call the US. He didn't know what I was saying. I was like, man, this is like fucking bullshit. So I just sat there, the one thing I do remember is the guy next to me screaming because the police went in and just like started just beating the shit out of him. And I was like, oh man, are they gonna come in here and do that? But no, they didn't. I got, it wasn't until the sun had gone down, I have no idea what time it was, but, the sun had gone down, that they put another dude in there with me. And this guy's just like, I'm lying on the ground, and he's just like, sort of like over me, like looking down at me. And he seems really friendly, but he's like, kind of looking at me for a while. And then he starts like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think he thought like I was like fighting somebody, or that's why I got in trouble. We were like trying to communicate. This was actually a pretty wild experience because we were barely able to communicate. And, so I'm lying down, and I was just like trying to sleep at that point, like just trying to sleep as much as I could to get the time to pass. He like lies down right next to me, and sort of curls out and like goes to sleep instead of like on the other side, like in the other room. So I was just like, whatever. But he was super friendly. He was punching some of the cockroaches so that I didn't have to, and sort of being like really cool. And then the poor dude like sits up and he starts crying, and I was like, dude, I gotta hold it together. You know what I mean? The whole time I was like, I can't let this break me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be fine. I'll figure this out. I had to teach. This was like Thursday into Friday. I had to teach on Monday, so it was like, okay, as long as it's really 36 hours, I'll be out. Plenty of time to teach. I did teach on Monday, the huge black eye, and I think I told all my students that I like fell off my bike or something. So I just kind of like bumped his knee, and I was just like, dude, I got you. Like, we're gonna make it. We're gonna be fine. I do have to say there was part of me that was like pretty proud of myself, that I was like, I'm just not gonna let this break me. Like, I just have to sit here and I just have to deal with it. And like the thoughts of like someone trying to get a hold of me. The thought that really freaked me out was I knew that they had my phone. At this point, I had known that they had my phone. And I was worried that they were going to get into my WhatsApp, figure out how to get into the Airbnb and like steal the rest of my stuff. That was the only like anxiety that I really had, and because like nobody knew where I was really, people knew that I was in Mexico, but when you're in that cell alone and the only thing you can hear is like faint, Spanish, like in the distance, the guard is giving you like one cup of water like every 10 hours and you can't even ask them a question. That's like if you're not used to being alone and you're not used to dealing with like some higher anxiety situations, I could see that being freaked out. And I remember just being like, man, it would be awesome to just have like somebody that I know because when I get out of there, a friend of mine was coming down, but not for like another like 5 days. And I didn't want to keep going out. I wasn't going out anyway, but I wasn't like, gonna go hang out now even during the day, because I was like, oh my God, what if they do it again? So like it was a bit of loneliness in there. And the next day had gone by, and then they put me and him in the cell with 2 other dudes. There's 4 of us in there. But they all had food coming in from their family, was dropping food off. And they were giving it to me because they knew I didn't have anything. They were making sure that I got water, because the guards were not listening to me. They didn't care, so they would get, their cup filled up. They had sort of like the top of a 2-liter bottle of Coke that was sort of like ripped open, and then they were getting water out of that, and then like making sure that I got one. So that ended up being some sort of positive. Anyway, I got out of there. It was cool. I do want to go back to Mexico. That's not really going to deter me from doing that, especially with all the positive experiences I had with all the locals. I just have to sort of pay attention a little bit more. And then, that was it. It was like wild, but now like looking back, it happens to so many people. Like I'm just like one of so many people that just get like beat and sort of locked up, and 36 hours seems to be the time. I was watching a video. One guy didn't realize that he was running, and then it was private property, and the police like tackled him, and then he got locked up for like 36 hours, and he like meditated and did yoga. And I was like, I'm not that fucking mentally strong. I'm just going to sit and try to sleep. This guy like made it like, he was like, oh, it's 36 hours. I can, do all this meditation and stuff. I thought that was pretty wild, but that's the story.